Now it is Saturday. The day that you saw the IKEA trip was Thursday. And so I'll have a separate video of taking in that stand that I purchased, as well as the stand I got off of Amazon. And I did buy a couple of wall shelves, and so I need to figure that out. But so here is where we are. I have made a list of things that, in order how I want to do some things to make sure I stay on track. So what I have done is go ahead between the last video and now, I tell you, I'm in here every day. I went ahead and printed off all my sublimations that I needed to do my car coasters, as well as the mouse pads. So that is done. But the first thing I am going to do, because I did get my transfers in from, that only took 2 days. I had ordered them the same day as the last video, and within 2 days I got them. I received them in the mail, and so I need to press these last 6 tote bags. And actually I'll do that when I am pressing these, so I can just do pressing all together. But the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I need to clear this station off where I'm at right now. We're going to cut out these patterns, and then we're going to get some sewing, get a couple samples done, so then I believe I know how many I'm going to do. It's a 3-day event, but I'm not going to overwhelm myself trying to do 30 pouches, 30, you know, I'm not doing that many. And so we'll see how it goes, what I'm thinking for these. But let's go ahead, switch gears, and I am going to cut out these patterns, and then get to sewing up the samples, and then I can move on to the next step in my process. Okay, it's a few days later, and I am finishing up the second item. Woo, you guys, I had to pay attention to the second one, the video, a little bit more closely, and because it was rough. But it is going to look good, and I'm happy that I did these, and both of these, well, we'll see how this final one finishes. But one I'm actually going to keep for myself, because just the finishing on it is not the best, and there is a change I think I want to make on it. This one that I am finishing, oh my goodness, I can't make the change on it that I'm going to make the change on the other one. But let me go ahead and finish this off, this sewing off, and then I had to pay attention to the video. I know I said I was so, you know, with you all and share with you the process, but no, not these. Because there were a couple parts I really needed to pay attention to. I will say, while I'm finalizing this, I did receive all of my bookmarks that will be at the market. So those are ready to go. Those arrived, and then and I get those through Vistaprint. And then the tote bags are all pressed, and I just need to sew in the labels for those, and that will be easy to do, and I'll actually share with you. And yeah, this one I'll keep as well because okay, let me finish this off and then I will finish my thoughts. Okay, so yes, I am done. You just saw me use my, so for those who are newer to the channel, you may not know that I make handbags, wallets, thick, all the materials, and faux leather. And so I have a lot of tools already. A lot of the things that I do have was purchased over time. In some of these projects, you don't need all of these things out the gate in order to make them. So I will say that. So far as the rivets, you can use a hand press. I have 2 table presses because one I use for holes and for other things. The one I use specifically for rivets. And so I'll link to a video on a separate channel where I compare the 2 table presses. One is from Cam Snaps, the other one is from Gold Star. So anyway, just in case anybody have any questions, so here are the 2 items here, and absolutely love them. So, you know, as I mentioned before, the reason I want to try these patterns, and again, this is a designer that allows you to make pattern, you know, make your product from their pattern, and you can sell it at fairs and different things of that nature. If you missed my video where I talked about don't struggle with trying to figure out how somebody's making their pouches or their makeup bags, just purchase a pattern or look out here on YouTube for free ones. I'll link that up here in the iCards and probably have it pop up at the end of this video. I give a lot of tips and everything in that video. But so you all know I wanted to make pouches and makeup bags for the event, but I wanted a different style. And so different from what everybody else is making. That's always what, you know, I aim for. So a couple of things I've done. So this pouch, as you can tell, it has a this round shape, almost look like a loaf of bread. That's what it almost looks like. And it has the pull tabs on the end. It has double zippers, and I have a ton of zipper tape, different colors, zipper pulls, all of that. I have a whole bunch. Now this fabric is actually is based on the scriptures, Romans 10:17, and it says, let's see here, trust the word of God, listen, trust are, you know, some of the words that are enlarged on the design. This is a bespoke fabric, so this is one that I have designed. I do not sell it, and so I was thinking about selling it, but I like the idea of having my own bespoke fabrics that only you can get from here. Now, while many people might have, you know, something similar to this, you cannot get it in the different fabrics that I would offer in colorways. So yeah, so absolutely love this. Now the thing about this is you have the double zipper pull, and then you have the inside. I just used a this hot pink lining that I already have. And on the inside, I'm going to flip this inside out so you can see. Now both of these, and this is called the Enigma. No, this is called the Blue Stem Pouch. Both of these patterns are by So Sweetness. I will link to So Sweetness website down below. So this is the Blue Stem Pouch. And you finish off the inside with fold over elastic to finish off the edges here. This looks horrible on the inside only because I typically struggle with when I have to use binding or fold over elastic on the inside of something. I'd rather just have a clean finish of something so I don't have to worry about binding. This pattern, I can figure that out. I know how I would change this ever so slightly. This also, one of the things that both of these projects use is foam. So if you saw my other handbags that I've made, you know, the real big one, I'll pop a picture up here on the screen. The real big one that uses foam, it was faux leather. I sewed everything up on my HD 3000. Sometimes, and I have a walking foot. Sometimes, depending on the project and the thickness, I would have to put on my walking foot for this particular machine. I do want to get a more industrial machine. I have 4 sewing machines, and so I have several machines, but the HD 3000 was for, you know, bag making and different things. So I've been able to successfully sew handbags and wallets and denim, all of that on the HD 3000. So this here, love how it turned out. You all have to let me know what you think. I believe I definitely can pull this one off for finishing these in time for the market. So I think I only have, and the fabric, I have enough fabric to do these. And I'll still probably call these praise pouches just because they're scripture based and everything, but obviously you can put anything you like in here. So love these, and I have enough bespoke fabric that I can probably do 6 of these at least. And again, my final will be, and the zipper goes all the way to the zipper end. I do love that because that means it opens up really wide. See that? That means it's opening up really wide. And so the only thing I would change in here is I don't want to finish off the inside with stretch elastic. So I do believe I can probably, more than likely, and what's giving it a nice structure is because of the foam. You have the, and if you get this pattern or these patterns, there's a sew along that comes with it. So she walks you through all of this, but these areas where the foam is stitched together, is this part is fine. It's down here at the bottom by these tabs where I struggled a bit. And so what I probably will end up doing is for those edges, not going all the way to the edge for stitching the foam in, and or trimming down that foam as close to the line, to the stitch line as possible, so it's not as, it'll still give a good hold like this, but I want to be able to put in a seam in here that's open, that I can turn this right side out, as they call it, birthing the bag through, instead of, and then that way my insides are all clean, as opposed to having to add this fold over elastic, which for me just doesn't look good. I have never been great at that ever, and so if I can avoid it as much as possible, I will. So this is the blue stem pouch. I am keeping this. There's a lot of stitching errors and whatnot on here. This is not something I would sell. It's absolutely, it's so cute though. Love, love, love. And then the pouch, as I talked about makeup pouches, you know, everybody's making makeup pouches, and for the most part, most of them look the same, but I always envision doing something different. Enter this pouch, and as you can tell, it has a slant zipper that goes all the way over to the other side, and it is a double zipper. And of course, I use more fun zipper tape, and I have so many colors of zipper tape and zipper pulls. And then the top, you saw me add the rivets, so the rivets are at the top. That is pure decoration. You do not have to add rivets on the top. If you do decide to do this, you do not have to add the rivets. It's pure decoration, but I like how it looks, and it's easy to carry. And she also has double pulls under each zipper. Again, this also comes with a sew along, and so absolutely love it. Now let me share with you the inside of this. Now this one, let me show you how it opens. So it opens like this, and you have a pocket, zipper pocket on the inside. As you can tell, I've added my label. I have so many different labels, but I added my purple label on the inside of this one. And so it has the center zipper pocket that obviously you can fit whatever you like in there. And when it opens flat. And then you have these accordion sides, which allows it to, you know, just drape open nicely. She has you quilt. You can't really tell, but the inside, the bottom inside is quilted. She shows you all of that in the video. Now, the other thing for this that was tricky is the inside is finished with bias binding, which, oh, I cringe at doing projects with that. And so it calls for 2.5 inches wide binding. Definitely use that size. This wouldn't have been bad had I used the right size binding. I have a bucket full of bias binding that I use for garments and everything like that, and so it wasn't wide enough. What I used was 2 inches wide. This calls for 2.5 inches. You need that extra 1/2 inch width in the binding. So I was really pulling. I mean, I caught it. As you can tell, I did catch it, but where it became a little bit tricky was around where that zipper is. Even though I caught it, I did catch it all the way around the whole inside. I caught it, but oh, binding can be tricky. Now this one might be, and you use foam for this, so this is why you get a good stand like this. And then when you close it up, I'm just gonna close it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And so when it's standing on the, let me poke this edge out a little bit so you can see, make sure everything is poked out nicely. So you can see it sits real nice. Isn't that nice? And it's because it has foam. And so here's the thing. Again, I have been making handbags, thick handbags, using faux leather, all of that for a very long time, for several years. So a lot of these tools I already have. Foam. I absolutely love Annie Soft and Stable. It's the cream of the crop. However, it is pricey, so you'll have to account for that if you want that foam. Otherwise, just use the foam you see at Hobby Lobby. Do Walmart? I can't remember if Walmart sells foam, but remember it was at Joann's. It's once Michael's get a lot of the Joann's type products and everything, they should carry it as well. Maybe your area Michael's is already carrying it, but this is Annie Soft and Stable in here, and I wanted to show you for comparison. It's not that big of a difference. This is regular foam that came from Joann Fabrics, and this came from Annie Soft and Stable. I'll list to Annie Soft and Stable. You can see, you can usually 9 times out of 10 you can get in your quilt shop, wherever your quilt shop is in your area, they probably carry Annie Soft and Stable. So when you visit Annie Soft and Stable website, you will see she lists stores, or look up a store in the area that might be carrying her products already, and because she really pushes people to support the stores to get the products that she offers. Even the fold over elastic came from Annie Soft and Stable. I love her products, mesh, everything I get from her. But yeah, these are absolutely beautiful, and I love how they look. I did not want this one, I just totally forgot to put a label on, but if I did, it will be on the inside. So the finished size of the Enigma pouch, that's what this is. This finished size is 10 by 5.5 and 5.5 with the pouch closed. So that's what the size of this one is. And then the pouch, the blue stem pouch, the pouch is real. This one takes some time to do. I would say a good hour. Definitely prep all your pieces, and then from start to finish, probably within an hour you can get this done. This one, less than an hour, not even. Not even once you got it down. But the finished size, and this pattern comes in 2 sizes. It comes in a mini and a regular. This is the regular, which is 9.5 inches long by 3.5 inches tall with 3 inches deep. So yeah, that's the size of that one. So yeah, I am plugging away. I have my list. I've been checking things off the list, working on things. I finished all of my totes. So all of my totes are finished. One of the things I realized, I was gonna make some totes, but I'm going to take my other Bible tote bags, the faux leather ones. I'm just gonna take those to the market. And I figure, why make totes? And I have like 13 or 15 of these, plus I have a lot of seconds, and I was like, I don't need that many totes. And so but I need to put my labels. I have all my labels that I plan to use for all these products, and so I've you know, cut all those up. I think I shared that in a previous video. But all I'm going to do is just stitch this to the back, stitch my label to the back. That'll be easy, because what I use is I put heat bond on here, and I heat bond this down in place. You know how sometimes you might see people pin these and then try to stitch around. I don't do that, because then the label has a tendency to shift. I will use heat bond to stick this down, and sewing heat bond is adhesive. So all you do is adhere it with heat, stick it down, and then I'll stitch around. That way the label don't move around. So I will be doing that. That won't take me no time at all. And then my next to do on my list is to after I do that, is to go ahead and press all of my sublimation items. And my lids are with the person who's doing my laser engraving. I should be able to pick those up actually this week. My bookmarks came in. Things are moving along. I was a little worried. These I'll do as many as I can with the fabric that I have. So I might not have more than 6 or 8 of these. I'll put them, you know, take them to the market. Whatever don't sell, I'll put on the website. But yeah, all of these I'll be able to do like 6 of these. These, on the other hand, you can cut the binding. So I chose not to cut binding myself and do the binding myself. I decided to use binding I already had, and so I will have to cut binding for this, and we'll see how many. I won't press myself to get a lot of these done. We'll see. Things are moving, and I still need to make some prayer and devotional pillows, which those are easy to make. That won't take long, but still, you know, I am in here every day. And so that's it for this week. Thank you all for tuning in today and coming along with me as I get to work and get stuff done. Once the pressing is done and I get all that stuff in the box, and then I do my UV DTF on my acrylic bookmarks and finish off my sublimation, it really will be just sewing up these things. Like I said, this is definitely probably a half an hour or so, maybe. And this one probably a good hour after you cut all the pieces out. So that's what I will have to do, is prep all my pieces for these that I plan to do. And yeah, I think the night before I have to the market start is I'm gonna save that night to do all my signage that I need to create. So anyway, that's it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and let me know what you think of the pouches. All right, everybody, have a blessed one, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.